Hello, and welcome back to Rising Coaches with Sophia Bernardi. Today's episode is inspired by a really great question I got from one of my clients inside Scale School, and I wanted to answer it here on the podcast because I know so many of you are either starting your coaching business or feeling like you're starting over, pivoting, re-niching, relaunching, rebuilding momentum. And the question was, Sophia, if you were starting your business again, what would you do? And then she really cutely added at the end, aside from, of course, being inside Scale School. And the short, honest answer is I would do exactly what I teach inside Scale School. It's a simple 9-step process broken into 3 core pillars: sustainable strategy, seamless sales, and simple systems. And all throughout, every part of that is deep rooted in mindset and energetics work. Because anyone can follow a simple step-by-step system. You've got the books, you've got the YouTube videos, you've got the courses, but not everyone does it, despite it being there. The answer is there for you on a silver platter, but not everyone does it, right? Despite you're able to. And so the question really is what stops people from simply doing the process, following the strategy? That's really what needs to be focused on. Because 2 people can have the exact answer in front of them, and those 2 people can go about that from a completely different lens, and they'll get completely different outcomes, right? So in today's episode, I'm going to walk you through what this actually looks like, because I think it's a really great question. So let's dive in. I created Scale School because it's the exact process that I followed. It's what I've done to grow from $0, starting out, no idea what I was doing, no experience, nothing. I was 22. To now my biggest cash month, an $83,000 cash month in a coaching business. And it feels aligned, feels spacious, and deeply fulfilling. The difference is that it took me investing in like 10 different coaches and programs to actually create this process. And my goal is to halve my clients' time in getting those results, even less than half, because they don't have to go through the 10 programs. They don't have to piece together and figure out what works and what doesn't. They can go straight to what works and have it all in one place with deep, deep support. And here's the thing, like my business model has almost not changed since year 1 in business. I'm just better, right? All that's changed is me. I've just gotten better through practice, through consistency, and commitment to mastery. I'm playing the long game. There's no secrets. There's no secret niche. There's no perfect I help statement. There's no magic content format. There's no hidden algorithm hack. What works? Truthfully, relentless action. A deep passion for the work that I do. A willingness to get uncomfortable. And becoming someone who keeps showing up even when it's hard, because yes, it will be hard. Most coaches don't need a new strategy. They actually just need to do the reps. Business is a compound game. You don't grow fast because you post once or you launch once or you create a good offer, even if you're following a great strategy. You grow fast because you go all in on a few core things and you do them over and over and over again. Everyone's going to suck the first time, even with the step-by-step process. This is why Scale School is a minimum of 12 months. Because yeah, you can reach 30K in your first month. You can do so in a couple of months. And people do, right? But they have this mindset. And they typically, have taken action for a year or 2 or a couple of years or a few years before that as well. Or have some prior experience that's given them the mindset and the identity that they need to be able to scale quickly, right? If you don't have that, you have to do the reps to get that. You're not going to get that from reading a book. You have to build that through the doing, okay? You don't just pick a niche, you master it. You don't just write an offer and you don't just do so on ChatGPT. You got to obsess over it until others know about your offer, just as much as you do. You don't just post and hope. You position yourself daily across multiple touch points. What I see time and time again is that coaches who grow the fastest are the ones who stay consistent even during the plateaus and the hard days, don't reinvent the wheel every 30 days, and they focus on getting better at the basics instead of chasing new trends all the time. They follow the process. They trust the process. They don't dabble, they commit. And whatever you need to do to be able to do that is what you should do. So what helped me trust the process? Having a coach that has the results. What helped me follow the process? Making sure that I was working jobs and bringing in an income separate from my business so I didn't have to be so emotionally attached to my business. And I kept my jobs until I was consistently replacing that income in my business. And that's what felt good for me, right? The business journey isn't just about what you do. Yes, what you do absolutely matters, but it's just as much about who you are being while you do it. Because I've seen it over and over again after coaching hundreds of coaches, but then also just being in this space, right? Two people can follow the same process. One grows fast and one spins their wheels for years. Why? It comes down to the mindset, the energy, and the identity. So I've got some questions for you. Are you showing up like a CEO or a scared beginner? Are you trusting yourself or questioning every move? Are you creating momentum or collapsing every time something doesn't go your way? Do you feel safe receiving and holding wealth? Or are you worried about what others will think, what will happen if you do make that money, or what you'll lose? You have to be super honest with yourself here to actually uncover this. You can't avoid this stuff if you want to scale. You can't reach the 10, 20, 30, 40, 50K months and beyond whilst not believing in yourself, doubting every single step of the process, and not having support, and just guessing your way. It just doesn't happen, right? It's going to be messy. It's going to be hard, and it's going to be chaotic at times. But you have to lead yourself through that discomfort. You have to regulate your nervous system, stay in overflow, and move even when you don't feel like it. And guys, I've gone through some challenging things over the last 5.5 years. I had all of my high school friends leave nasty comments on one of my posts in the early days of my business. I lost all of my friends overnight and it broke me. But the next day, I was posting again. I showed up for my clients and I kept going. I had my grandparents who mean the absolute world to me. What they say matters to me, right? They told me to get a 9-to-5 job and not to start my business. They did not back my decision to start a business. I had my own dad even recently tell me that what I do is embarrassing and that I shouldn't talk about money and that it's cringe, were his exact words. I had family members make fun of me behind my back and laugh at what I was doing. I've had people block me, say nasty things, and project their shit onto me. And through it all, I never stopped. And that is what it takes. Sometimes the shitty things that you fear will actually happen. And it's how you go about it that means everything. And that's what Scale School really teaches. Not just the strategy, but the identity work required to scale sustainably. Because you can't scale if you don't feel safe doing so. If you're in this season where growth feels slow or like you're starting over, please hear this. Everyone you see crushing it online, they've likely got 5 to 10 years of effort behind the scenes that you simply didn't see because you weren't following them at the time. They've worked really bloody hard to get there. Anyone that is ultra successful and genuinely so and is actually living a great life in the process, they have worked really hard to get there. I can almost guarantee it. I don't know of anyone having an overnight success. What the heck is that? It's not a thing. It's a compound effect of staying visible, staying consistent, and staying committed no matter what. I started a YouTube channel back in 2016, 3.5 years before I started my coaching business, and I was just doing it for fun. I'd post a YouTube video every single week, no matter what. It wasn't for the money. I made no money from it. It wasn't for a business. I was just doing it. And yet I still treated it like one. I still showed up as if people were like going to pay me and it was like my job to post every Monday, right? Just because I wanted to. For 3.5 years, I did that. And whilst that wasn't a business, you best believe that 3.5 years of experience of filming and editing and having the confidence to put myself out there gave me a lot of video camera skills, talking skills, just through doing the reps. I didn't do a course, I was just doing it. I started my coaching business at age 22. When I still had fears, I still had doubts, I had no experience, I had no qualifications and no idea what I was doing. I had this big story in my head as well that I'm too young to be a life coach because I was 22. You know, a lot of people think, what does a 22-year-old know about life? But I did it anyway, despite I think other people having that thought and also myself having that thought. But I knew that I wanted to do this and I knew that I had experience and I knew that I could help people, despite also at the same time having those fears. I've grown my business through a global pandemic when it could have been easy to just say, who's going to buy coaching during this time? And let something external like that dictate my entire future. I've showed up on my business on the bad days, and there's been some really bad days, and I've also shown up on my good days. I've shown up on weekends, in the middle of the night, early in the morning, right? I showed up every moment I could in between my 5 casual jobs, no matter how tired I was when I started my business. I never complained about it. Well, maybe I would have complained a little bit, being like, this is hard or whatever, but I still did it. I still did it. So if I was starting again, to answer that original question, I'd do exactly what I did because there is no shortcuts to business. Well, the closest thing you can get to a shortcut is going straight to what works, but you still have to put in the reps. You can have the process there and you still be shit and you have to do the reps to get good. But I'd do exactly what I did. I'd show up for one process and focus on nailing that. I'd have a coach by my side every step of the way, every day, to practice what I preach and make the journey much easier and faster. I'd commit no matter what. I'd focus on the 20% of things that bring me 80% of the results. I wouldn't chase shortcuts because there aren't any. And I'd focus on my mindset and energy every step of the way, because that's what creates a sustainable, wildly profitable business. So there you have it. That's what I would do if I was starting again. And that's exactly what I teach inside Scale School. We give you the strategy, the systems, the templates, and the support to get the results that you want. And I teach all of this and I provide all of this in Scale School because I know that it works. And so then when you apply this mindset and this behavior, that's when you're going to get results. Now, if this resonated with you and you have a friend that's a coach, please share this episode to someone that you think might need to hear this. It would mean so much to me. And if you're ready to stop guessing and start scaling, I'd also love to support you. You can book a free roadmap call with my scale specialist to talk about working together and see if that's the right fit. The link will be in the show notes for you. Until next time, go do those reps. You've got this.